Morning students, welcome to today's lecture class. So in the last lecture, in fact, we were discussing about the different types of tension failures. That is the cross-sectional yielding, net sectional rupture, and the block shear failure. So let us continue our discussion with block shear failure. So as I have told you yesterday's class, block shear failure it occurs due to shear and tension plane, both coexisting simultaneously, both of them being perpendicular to each other. So as you can see, there are four sections here. Okay, first one is for the bolted angle section, second one is for shear fraction and tension yielding, then bolted flange of I section, the various kind of connections for angle and I sections. This how the block shear failure occurs. This is shown diagrammatically. What happens is when the applied tensile load is increased, the fracture strength of the weaker plane is approached. Okay. Now out of this shear plane and this tension plane, shear plane is like it is parallel to this line. Okay. And tension plane will be perpendicular. Okay. Vertically to the shear plane. So the two types of plane will coexist. Now one of this plane will be weaker, one of this will be stronger. Okay. Now what happens is, suppose if the shear plane is weaker, it will reach the yielding. Okay, but the failure will not start. The failure will only start when the tension plane is beginning to rupture. Okay, so the design tensile strength as per block shear for this block will be the tensile strength for this shear plane and this design tensile strength for this tension plane, both. Now what happens is, first the fracture strength of the weaker plane is approached. Now this plane does not fail. It is approached, it might reach the yield limit, but then it doesn't fail because this is being restrained. This is being caught upon by this tension plane. So below this vertical tension plane is there, so it will catch hold of it. Okay, so it will restrain it, and because of this, it will not fail because it is the stronger plane. So obviously, stronger plane will restrain it, and the load can still be increased until the fracture strength of the stronger plate is reached. Now, at this point, when the fracture strength of the stronger plane is reached, the weaker plane will start yielding. Okay. Now, sometimes your shear plane will be stronger, weaker, tension plane will be smaller, and it might be vice versa. Sometimes shear plane will be stronger and tension plane will be weaker. So for both cases, we'll see what is the cross-sectional area. So this is how, and this entire section, this section, this is a block, this will shear out. Okay, this will tear out as an entire block, not these bolts will come out, not this some other, only this square rectangular block will come out. This is called as block shear failure. So I hope you understand this. So how to calculate this block shear failure? Let us see in this discussion. So if there is shear yielding and tension fracture, okay, for the first case, then what is the block shear failure for tensile strength? It is AVG Fy by root 3 gamma M0 plus 0.9 ATN Fu by gamma M1. Okay, and if it is the reverse for the second case, if it is tension plane is yielding first and then shear fracture is occurring, that means tension plane is the weaker plane, shear fracture is the stronger plane, and it is vice versa in the first case. So in that case, it is just replaced by ATG Fy gamma M0. Instead of root 3, it is gamma M0, and here it is, instead of gamma M1, it is root 3 gamma M1 AVN. See what happens here. Here AVG is the shear area, okay, of the gross shear area of the shear plane. ATN is the net shear area, net tensile area of the tensile plane. Okay, this you have to calculate. And in this case, gross area of the tensile plane and net area of the shear plane, just reverse of this. Okay, so these are the notations, the symbols for this. Gamma M0, gamma M1, this is a partial safety factor. This you already know, 1.11, 1.25. So having known these values, you can calculate what is the block shear failure. Okay. Now, once you calculate the block shear failure, once you calculate the gross sectional yielding, okay, and net sectional rupture, the minimum of those three will give you the design tensile strength. This is how it is done. Now, let us understand let us understand the design of axially loaded tension members. Okay, in your syllabus, it is only design of axially loaded tension members are there, but in general, in reality, okay, in reality, your tension members are always, loads are not always axial. They are, coupled with some eccentric moments, okay, some bending moments and all secondary moments. So load and bending moments, that is a different thing. So here we are concerned, I will keep our discussion confined to only design of axially loaded tension members. So how to do it? The procedure is, you first find the net area. So net area for the plate, this can be found out from this formula, T by 0.9 Fu by gamma m1, and for angle section, you calculate this as T by alpha Fu by gamma m1. Okay, you calculate this net area first, where T is the factor design load, Fu is the ultimate strength of the material, and alpha, you know, as per the bolted connections, 0.6, 0.7, and 0.8, depending on the connection. Gamma m1 is 1.25. So first you calculate what is the net area. Now the net area you calculate, you just increase that net area. Suppose it is 100. Suppose, let us, for example, or it is 1000 mm square net area square. Just increase this by this margin, 25 to 40%. It will be the gross area. So if it is 1000 is the net area, your gross area will be in the range of 1250 to 1400. 25 to 40%, 1.25 to 1.4 times the gross area will be. Okay, so you have calculated the gross area. Now this is the gross area that is required. Okay, gross area that is calculated from this. Now find out the gross area calculated from the gross sectional yielding formula. So this is T by Fy gamma m0. Okay, now find what is the gross area, and Fy is the yield strength of the material, gamma m0 is 1.1. You find what is the gross area. You found out what is the gross area. Now go to steel table. Okay, so go to steel table, rolled angle sections or built up section. You provide that much area, whatever area you have calculated here, and this area. Okay, this should be somewhat closer. This increased area and this gross area, this should be somewhat closer. Now, based on this calculation, you select an angle section. Suppose you are going for angle section, select an angle section, rolled steel angle section from the IS steel table, okay, or handbook. Now, you choose what is the number of bolts that is required to connect. Suppose you are providing bolts in 2 lines, then number of bolts will be 2, or bolts in only 1 bolt is required, the number of bolt will be 1, alpha will be 0.7, like that. You make that decision. Okay, now these will be arranged in a suitable pattern. The net area, now as per the connection, you know how to calculate the net area for both angle sections and both plate sections. You know how effective net area and net area is calculated. Calculate that part. Now find the design strength, TD, for the trial section. This will be minimum of, find the design strength for the gross sectional yield, gross sectional yielding, assuming the section is yielding, gross section of the part member is yielding. Find the tensile strength by the net sectional rupture, and find the tensile strength from the block shear. Out of those 3 failures, you find all the TDG, TDN, and TDB, and find out what is the least value of this. The least value will give you the design strength TG. Now check the slenderness ratio. Once you have selected, you have to check the slenderness ratio as per the IS specification. For tension members, we are actually in reality, tension members we are not bothered about the slenderness ratio. Slenderness ratio is an important factor of concern in compression members, but in order to satisfy this requirement, we should give it a check as per the IS code. Okay, and as per tables, as per type of connection and type of members, there is a list for the type of member and slenderness ratio. Your member should fall in that slenderness ratio. If it is falling, then your design is okay. So this is how you design a tension member. Now I've taken a couple of problems. Find out the net effective area. Generally in tension members, this is only asked to find the net effective area or the net sectional area. Okay, these are asked, and theories may be asked from the 3 types of failures. So you understand the conceptual part of the theory. That is always being, most of the time it is being asked from tension members in your RTU main exam. So that has to be clear, right? So let us consider this problem. A 300 ISF 8 mm grade 410 Fe 410 is used as a tension member in a lattice girder. So it is connected to a 12 mm thick gusset plate by 18 mm diameter rivet bolts of grade 4.6. Calculate the effective net area of the member if chain bolting is done and zigzag bolting is done. So for Fe 410 grade of steel, you know Fu is 410 megapascal, Fy is 250 megapascal. So this is the case. Okay, this is the gusset plate, and you are connecting this plate, okay, with this gusset plate. So first case is chain riveting, chain bolting. So chain pattern, all in 3 columns, 3 rows, you are providing 4 bolts in one line. Okay, like this. So first find out what is the net effect. In this case, find out what is the net effective area and zigzag bolting. So zigzag, your pitch is given, gauge is given. Okay, all this, and width of the plate is 300 is given. So based on these measurements, based on this data, you find what is the net sectional area for both the chain bolting and zigzag bolting. Okay, so first case is we will find for the chain bolting. Okay, right? So diameter of the bolt is given as 18 mm. So diameter of hole will be as from the table plus 2 mm, that is 20 mm. Now in this, the critical section is always closer to the edge. So 1 is the critical section. Okay. So if you or you can take any 3 also may be critical, 1 may be critical. The outermost section will be the critical one. So if you are selecting the critical section, now for this section, how many bolts are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 holes are there. Okay. So n is 4. Your net effective area simple for chain bolting given by B minus NDH whole bracket into T. So B is 300, number of bolts is 4, DH is 20, and thickness of this plate is given in the question, which is 8 mm. So this gives you first case is solved. 1760 is the net effective area for chain bolting. Now comes the main part, zigzag bolting. So zigzag bolting, there will be many sections. First section may be 1, 2, 3, 4. Second section may be 1, 2, 5, 3, 4, like that. Then it will be 1, 2, 5, and 7. Then it will be 1, 2, 5, 8, 9, and 10. So there will be number of sections that you have to consider, and you have to, whichever is the least area that you have to, or whichever is the maximum, we have to compare the areas. Accordingly, we find out the net effective area. So first, let us consider this section 1, 2, 3, 4. That is this section. So how many in this section 1, 2, 3, 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many holes are there? Only 2. Okay, all right. So let us go. So in the zigzag bolting, the section may hang along 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 5, 3, 4, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 5, 3, 4. Okay. So see here, first it is one line. Okay. Then you are staggering one, staggered by one time staggering. In this section, you are only one time staggering is there. But again, you are staggering here and staggering here. So in this section, 1, 2, 5, 3, 4, n dash, number of staggered pitch will be twice, 2. First staggered will be here, and then from here to here, another staggered. Okay, so this you have to keep in mind. The value of n and n dash. So simply put these values. So for this first case, an will be b minus ndh plus n dash p square by 4 gt. Now put these values. B is 300. What is n? Number of holes will be 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So put that value here. Put n equals to, for the first case, put n equal to 2. Okay, in this formula. So if n is 2 and n dash is only 1, n dash is, what is n dash? N dash is 0, because there is first case there is no staggering. If you see in this figure, first case all these 2 bolts, bolt number 2 and bolt number 3. Okay, these are in one line, so there is no staggering. So it will only be like chain bolting only. So n dash, n will be 2. So b minus n dh into t. So put that values, you will get first case. That value is here. That value is put n equal to 2 and 8 into 8. This is 2080 millimeter square. Okay. First case is 1760. It is now 20. So net effective area is increasing. You are seeing this thing. Here you can observe from chain bolting to zigzag bolting. When you are moving, changing that pattern of connections, your net effective area is increasing. Now go for this section 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. Let us go here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. How many staggered? There are number of bolts is 1, 2, and 3. Staggering is 1. So n is 3, n dash is 1. Simply put this value. Okay. So n is 3, n dash is 1, and P is 65, G is 75, and T is 8. Put all these values, you will get 2032.66. So earlier it was 2080. Now it is 2032. So it has decreased a bit. Okay. Now for this section, 1, 2, 5, and 3 and 4. So twice staggered. So N will be 1, 2, 3, N dash will be 2. So put this value. N is 3, N dash is 2, rest all values will be same. Then you are getting 2145. So when you are staggering it twice, your net effective area is increasing. So this is 2145.33. And in the last case, 1, 2, 1, 2, 5, 8, 9. 8, 9, 10. So for this case, N is 4, N dash is 3. There will be 3 times staggering. Pitch is 65, and you put all these values, you are getting is 2098 millimeter square. Okay, so now out of these 4 sections, you have taken the 4 critical sections. See which is having the least effective area. So minimum is 2032.66. So this is the critical section. Okay, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. Yes, bolting may fail 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. So this section is the critical section. So net effective area will be the least of all the zigzag bolting areas, net effective areas, all zigzag bolting. You find out what is the list. List is 2032. That is the how you find the net effective area. All right. Now let us move to another problem. So determine the net effective area for the section shown in the figure. The angles are connected as shown in figure. The steel is of grade 4 Fe410. Now, like in the earlier case, it was plate. Okay, plate was connected, and we had to find the net effective area for the plate. Now for angle, we know it is net effective area. It is not net area. So we have to find AN. Okay, so this is the figure actually. First case, your angle, this is the angle, the connected leg is connected with 3 bolts of 18 mm grade steel. Okay, so there are 3 bolts connected in this line, and you are seeing this only. Why you are seeing 1 bolt? Because you are seeing the side view. So from side view, you can see only 1 bolt, but in actual presence, if you extend this angle section, you will get 1 bolt here and 1 bolt here. Okay, so this is side view only, but number of bolt is 3. So you have to see what is the number of bolts. Now what you do is you find what is for this case when it is connected by bolt, but find what is the net area of the connected leg. How the net area of the connected leg is found out? Connected leg means you have to find what is the net area of this part. Okay, so net area of this part will be length minus breadth, length minus breadth into thickness. So breadth is 100 minus what is the thickness? What is the thickness of this plate? 10 mm. So 100 minus 20. What is the diameter of the hole? Diameter of the hole is 20. 18 plus 2, 20. So for always remember this, how to find if you are not given in steel table, how to find the net area of connected leg. It is 100 the breadth of the section minus diameter dh, b minus dh minus t by 2, thickness by 2. Why it is thickness by 2? Because your this thing, this is the thickness, but you are not calculating up to here. You are calculating up to here, midpoint of this, from here to here. This thickness midpoint you are finding. For this case also you are finding up to here. So you have to subtract minus 10 by 2. Okay, thickness ka half you have to do. So it is 100 minus 20 minus 10 by 2 into 10. So B into T, you find 750. Now outstanding leg will be same, only this DH will not be there because there is no hole. So 75 minus 10 by 2 into 10, 700. So total, what is the total net area? 750 plus 700, 1450. Now this bolt is connected by 3 bolts. So for 3 bolts, one leg of, now since only one leg of the angle is connected, the net area will be reduced depending on the number of bolts of the connection. There are 3 bolts, alpha will is 0.7. If number of bolts is 2 or less than 2, it is 0.6. If it is 3, then it is 0.7. You know from this last class I have explained to you. So AN is alpha into ANE is alpha into AN. So 0.7 into 1450, it is 1015 millimeters square. All right. Now let us take this case. if it is welded. So for welded, if there is welding, then there is no deduction in bolt. Okay, so net area will be 100 minus 10 by 2 into 10 for the connected leg. For the outstanding leg, this leg, it will be 75. This breadth is 75 minus 10 by 2 into 10. So total will be 950 plus 7 and 8, 1650. But since it is welded, alpha is 0.8. So 0.8 into 1650, it is 1320. So this is how you calculate the net effective area for angle section. Okay, one section is bolted, one section is welded. So this completes our tension members. The next class we'll start our discussion with compression members. That is for today. Thank you.